Put down your baby and pick up a beer. Dad Jokes is back with a brand new episode. I'm Jerry, joined here by Brandon, and you're listening to the podcast of two dads going through the journey of fatherhood while you guys get to sit back, relax, and listen to us do it. Brandon, what has been going on, my friend? It's been kind of a little bit crazy around the Olusky household, but how have the Bankses been doing lately?
It's always crazy. I got written in big letters on my notes, survival mode, and that's what we're in right now. Between work and home, we're surviving right now, Jerry.
I hear you, man. It's a little bit of survival mode over here. It's funny because now, Brandon, I got a new position at work recently. For those of you who haven't listened recently, and I have a lot of drive time. So one thing I started doing on my drive time is I've listened back to some older episodes, which I haven't done in a long, long time. And I'm like listening to episodes that are like a year and a half old. And it's funny listening to us because it's almost the same thing. Like you think things would change, but it's like, hey, it's crazy. Stuff's new. I don't know, like there's good, there's bad. It's just funny. It's kind of like, hey, being a dad is even though the ages change and stuff changes, it really kind of stays the same. And that's basically that life is crazy and is always going to be crazy. So I'm just kind of embracing that.
We're just constantly trying to survive. I will say right now, Kelsey kind of looked at me the other day, and this was after something crazy happened, like probably a few minutes later, and she's dead serious, like talking about kid number 3, and I'm like, let's look around real quick. This is crazy right now. Let's slow our roll. So, but besides other reasoning, that is not in my thought process right now. And shout out to everybody who, dude. Sometimes I sit and think, like my grandmother, both my grandmothers. My mom's mom had 8 kids. My dad's mom had 12 kids, and the houses that they had these kids in were significantly smaller than the houses we feel like we busting at the seams in right now. I do not understand how they survive.
It's funny you said that, Brandon. I literally have that thought all the
12
time.
Kids,
I'm
dog.
like, because when we had 1, I'm like, this is crazy. But I'm like, okay. And then obviously 2, you're like, this is just. I feel like once you have 2 kids, it's like, okay, this is a lot different than just having 1. But then thinking about 3, and then any more than 3, people would just blow my mind. At least 3, I can kind of understand. And maybe that's just how you get. Like once you get there, you can understand 1 more. But I don't know. Like I could kind of comprehend a 3rd, but like more than 3, and I just think you're crazy. Unless at that point in time you just give it all up and you're just like, hey, the kids can fend for themselves. the survival of the fittest.
I feel like by the time you got 3, I could talk myself into 4.
It's probably how it works. That's how it works.
To me, I was always 2 or 4. I don't know why. Maybe I just like even numbers.
Well, it's easier for the ride, just to your point.
Like the kids will get older. Even Bryce now can keep KJ entertained to a degree. Look at me, I'm talking myself into it.
There you go, Kelsey, jump on it right now. Literally and figuratively.
Yeah, once chill. Well, I mean, once they get to a certain point, they pretty much can help watch the kids too. So.
They do. The problem, though, Brandon, is they entertain each other, but they also fight. So it's like good and bad. It's like, hey, they're helping each other, and then 2 seconds later, you're like, hey, break it up, because they're like throwing stuff at each other or screaming or tattling on each other, which is a big thing. I don't know if you guys are at the tattling stage yet, but we're full into the tattling stage, which is just great.
But I was on the phone with you the other day, and I enjoyed hearing Peyton tattle on Avery.
Oh yeah, she loves
real time.
Yeah, when I say tattling stage, it's just the older one. The younger one hasn't really figured that out yet. She just cries if the big one makes her. But before we get too much into what's going on, Brandon, this show's called Dad Jokes for a reason, and I got a dad joke. I'm going to lead off today because I don't know why. I saw this dad joke forever ago, and I thought it was hilarious. And it just shows me where I'm at in my dad stage because it's probably not that funny, but I think it's funny. So I'm going to lead off.
I'm waiting with bated breath.
All right, Brandon. Why can't you use beef stew as your password?
Beef stew as your password. BEEFSTEW. I'm actually trying to figure out this. I don't know. The Pistons have a player looking at beef stew. What's the answer?
It's not strong enough. Oh, stroganoff.
Here's the problem. So, beef stroganoff makes me think of like a Cosby Show episode, which may be taboo to say now at this point. But Cliff Huxtable was all into beef stroganoff and said it funny to me. But I have no idea what beef stroganoff actually is. Is that like a stew?
It's like a stew. It's like I don't know if I've ever actually had it too, but it's funny because it's like, I don't know why. I just thought that was funny. It's not stroganoff. So.
I'm pretty confident we've used stroganoff as a dad joke.
Uh-oh.
And it had a different reference.
Okay, there you go. We got we got multiple ones. That's the other crazy part. Like we're on episode, what is this, 124 or something crazy? So I mean we're at like 300 dad jokes because sometimes we do multiple ones. So you got to give us a break. If we've said it before, we apologize. Anyways, that's my dad joke.
Oh, I got the re-up. So for my birthday,
okay,
my parents bought me like a dad jokes like card deck. They had there was some in there that were funny, and I didn't remember that I had that until just now. So
nice.
Dad joke today is not from that, but I'm gonna make sure I keep that down here at my desk to have.
Well, this is also a late happy birthday to Brandon Banks. Everyone listening, Brandon he's old officially as me now, so we're the same age for a little bit here. So he just had a recent birthday. I'm sure we'll hear about that and some other things with what's going on in the Banks household this week, Brandon.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I had a nice low-key birthday. But we brought that up. I might as well start giving us the update on what we've been up to. So my birthday was about a week and a half ago. And as birthdays have like come around, it is fun to see Bryce's reaction and how it's changed. Like when from his first birthday until probably like 6 months ago, he did not like the happy birthday song. He didn't like all the noise and clapping that came with like the cake. He still probably doesn't love that in like big parties. He'd rather stay away or watch from a distance. But he's been into like holidays, birthdays for probably about 6 months now. And Kelsey told him it was my birthday. I woke up. I got two different versions of the happy birthday song.
There you go.
I call it the black version and the white version.
Okay.
I like one. I like one better than the other. I'll let y'all figure out which one that is. But Bryce, like, he was singing me the song all day. He called me, sung it, and when I saw him later in the day after work, he was singing it to me too. So that was super fun. And then he sat on my lap while we blew out the candle. And actually did a very good job. The cake was still something that people wanted to eat.
I was gonna say, you didn't have spit all over it, did he?
The candle up. Yeah, but Kelsey did a good job. She had the house kind of done up when I got off work. The boys were excited. And it was a really good day. I'm more of like the low key birthday guy. I don't need all the extra stuff. I just rather chill. Especially that day I worked. I wanted to just come home, hang out with the fam. So that was a really good day. Bryce overall has been having a really good couple weeks. I feel like we're hitting our stretch with 3. At least I'll put it like this. I wrote these notes before today. At least this part of the notes before today, because he was tripping today. But his transition to his big boy bed has been a success. And I mentioned today we have had a rough couple days. The one thing I'm struggling with right now, Jerry, is in situations where, like I've said this time and time again, and there are times I'm tempted. We're not like spanking our kids. But boy, as you listen to stuff over and over again, you're going to hear me say this over and over again. It is a struggle because there are times, and this happened today, like he just wasn't listening. And like I tell him to go to timeout, he's almost happy to go to timeout. You take something away from him, he's cool with it. Like he good with it. He legitimately, like you're getting mad as a parent and you're trying to keep it like not emotional. Like, cause I don't want to also like yell at him all day long, even though some days, like sometimes I'm yelling at him, and you feel bad after. But like the kid will laugh in my face when I'm like, like it's a game. Like he look at me, and it's almost like
I feel your pain, Brandon.
Mechanism.
I feel your pain.
Like
I've gotten so close.
He
so close.
He gets nervous, bro. I was the closest I've ever been today. I think Kelsey thought I was about to do it. I
I almost did it to pay. I think I had her turned over, almost about to do it, and then I was like, "No, calm down, calm down." I think I was that close today.
Oh, it is tough because I think I make him nervous when I'm very stern, and his reaction is to laugh. I think he's trying to get me to laugh. I think I used to do the same thing, but his reaction is to laugh, which does nothing but piss me off more. Like when you laugh, I'm like, this ain't funny. You need to do what I'm telling you.
Different tactic, Bryce. Different tactic, Bryce.
And I'm just like, man, if you don't stop laughing in my face, I'm gonna pop you. I'm gonna pop you. And we're in this weird in between where he's either laughing in my face when I'm serious, or he's just bawling his eyes out because like I'm so stern with him, and the point still ain't getting across. I feel like. And we're having a similar conversation. So for all you out there listening, if you need somebody to relate to, I'm struggling with that right now because I'm having a very difficult time with understanding how to discipline and get him to listen.
The quote unquote gentle parenting.
Yeah, this ain't. I'm not gentle by nature in this scenario. But in addition to that, KJ has had 8 teeth that have broken through in the past month, which you can imagine how that's potentially affected his temperament.
Lots of drool.
It's lots of drool, which causes his neck to itch. Even like he runs through bibs like nobody's business. You definitely can tell a difference. But it seems that they've all gotten past that the stage where they were extremely uncomfortable. So. He's gotten a lot better over the past week or so. He is turning into a little mama's boy. He still gets super excited to see me when I walk through the door, like more than Bryce ever did. Like as soon as I come through the door, I can just hear the little pitter patter of his hands and knees as he's crawling towards me. He got a big smile on his face, but he is definitely preferring mom over dad right now. And then last thing, my parents took me out to eat today. For my birthday. We did it this weekend instead of last. And generally, Bryce and KJ have been very good at restaurants. Haven't really had an issue. KJ was great, and Bryce was good until about the last 5 or 10 minutes, and he was ready to go. And that was not really a fun experience. It wasn't fun because it's almost like the anxiety of what he's about to do, or if he's going to take it to that next level, even though he never quite did. We kind of kept it in check. But one thing this brought up, so he's ready to go, and sometimes when he wants to go somewhere or doesn't want to be where he's at, he like fakes like he has to go to the bathroom because he knows we're not going to play that. So took him to the bathroom, and it caused me to think, because this bathroom was not the cleanest. It was a one stall. And there was some stuff on the toilet seat and on the back of the toilet seat that I didn't want him sitting. So I held him up. He peed like he did a grown man pee, not sitting down. And that worked out. He's ready to leave 3 minutes later. We aren't leaving yet. And he says, "Daddy, I got to poop." He ain't got to poop.
Nope.
But he's saying he has to poop. And I was like, no, that bathroom's too dirty. You ain't sitting on that, and I ain't wiping it up. What do you do? I never thought about this. But you're out in public and your kid got to go and it's a dirty bathroom. Mm-hmm. That is a bad feeling because if he really would have had to go, I would have been cleaning up and it would have been bad. So we typically have something in the car. Just and I know I said I didn't have a piece of baby gear. We have a portable toilet that has a bag that goes into it. I can't remember off the top of my head right now who makes it, but. Push come to shove, we probably would have been using that instead. But that's what the last few weeks have been in the Banks household. It's been an adventure.
Yeah, no, I hear you. A lot of those things are similar to what's going on with us, Brandon. I'll start with the good because I feel like I could start with the negative, but I'm gonna start with the good. The good thing is, if anyone's been listening for a while, our oldest Peyton, she's 3 now, and she's always been she's super loud, super energetic, super fun at home. But like sometimes when we go in public, she gets a little shy, right? And she takes a while to warm up. And, it kind of is hit and miss. Sometimes she's not, but a lot of times she is. And the last couple of weeks, she has gone to a lot of different social events and has been just a ball of energy and not shy at all, which has been great. She still goes to gymnastics, and gymnastics has been a struggle for her where she gets really shy at gymnastics and doesn't want to do a lot of the things, but then comes home and wants to do everything. Well, she had her best week ever at gymnastics, was doing all the things, was high-fiving Macy, was super excited. That was super cool to see. She went to a baby shower yesterday, and I guess was just the life of the party, was talking to everyone, giving hugs, getting sweets and talking to people about everything and just had a great time. And then last night we went to a surprise birthday party for one of Macy's aunts, and it was at some random person's house. I mean, say random. It's random to us. We'd never been to this person's house before. We never met them before. And they had a 5-year-old daughter, who Peyton's never met before. It's her house. And Peyton just instantly, that was her best friend. That's all she wanted to do was hang out with her, have fun with her, do all the different things, and was just like no shyness at all. Just instantly they were best friends. And that was super cool to see. So her social interactions have been really good. And Avery has never had any issues. Avery will join your family over our family right now. So if we're out in public, you're more likely to take her home than I am because she will just walk up to you and act like you're
She's
family.
Been like that since a baby.
Correct.
Too.
Yeah. So she's not the problem, but Peyton sometimes has been, but that has been going really well. Anyone who listened to last week's episode might have heard us talk about how Peyton randomly started having some terrible tantrums again. Not like the normal tantrums, because anyone who has a toddler knows you got tantrums. Everyone's dealing with tantrums. I don't think any kid's immune of that, Brandon. But these were over the top, and I'm like, man, this is weird. Well, earlier in this episode, I referenced that I started listening back, and I just so happened to listen back to an old episode from a year and a half ago where she had the same problem. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. And me and Macy think we found a correlation. The correlation is Peyton has some digestive issues, and randomly we started putting her on Miralax, and she started having behavioral issues a year and a half ago, and we kind of stopped. We started doing that again, and lo and behold, she started acting like a psychopath again. And we started going down this rabbit hole, and if you look it up, and again, I'm not out here to bash Miralax or say that this is full-blown scientific proven, but you will find about 1 million parents that tell you do not put your toddler on this if you don't have to, which sometimes you have to because it can cause behavioral issues. And that seems to be the trigger because we stopped and Peyton's still having some issues, but not quite to the level that she was. I don't know what it is, but whenever we started putting her on this stuff, she acted insane, Brandon. And again, I'm used to toddler insane. This is a new level. She's just, I don't know, it's crazy. So we stopped that.
Zyrtec did that with Bryce, we think.
Yeah.
So we don't use that unless it's literally last resort.
It's so weird. And again, the doctors, these are doctors. Our doctors, Macy works at a doctor's office. They'll tell you to use it. So again, I'm not saying as a doctor, but it definitely affected her personality. And it might not be for everyone, but for whatever reason, it affected her personality. That being said, she's been better, but she still is having tantrums. But now 9 times out of her 10, her tantrums are linked to what I will call sensory issues, which she's always kind of had. She hates pants, as I've said 1 million times. She hates long sleeves. She hates certain types of clothing. She doesn't like socks most of the time. But lately, she hates certain types of pull-ups. And naturally, we bought 500 pull-ups that are the kind she hates that we didn't know about. And we ran out of the ones she doesn't hate, and that has been an issue going to bed the last few nights. So, unfortunately, I think I'm just going to suck it up and probably buy some more because the kid, it's not like it's 1 or 2. This has been 4 nights straight. It is an hour before going to bed. She's losing her mind because she says she hates these pull-ups, and she says they're not comfortable. I don't understand. They're just pull-ups, but there's a certain type. You know the ones that can kind of attach and detach? They're not they're, you know what I mean? They're almost you can undo them instead of just slip them off. Those are the ones she can't stand. So that has caused lots of issues, but I do think it's maybe related to her sensory issues. But gosh, man, bedtime the last few nights has not been fun in our house. On the other side,
Bryce actually has that. It's with buttons specifically.
Okay.
Don't know what it is. But 9 times out of 10, if something has a button on it, he notices it immediately before you. He's looking to see if you're trying to put something on him with buttons.
Huh.
And then it can be a disaster.
It's so weird how kids are like Peyton doesn't if she hates long sleeves, but if we can get her to wear long sleeves, which sometimes we can, if she washes her hands and gets water on it, she starts freaking out and keeps saying it's dirty and wants the shirt off. like just weird stuff like that. Like I don't even know like where you get that from, but I don't know. But Avery, on the other hand, she's she's a full blown toddler now. She's insanely cute. She's definitely in her copycat phase. So everything Peyton does, she wants to copy. From saying things to doing things to acting how Peyton acts, which is cute, except for when it's not. But it's kind of cool. She copies everything, and then she is starting to copy even like things that we say all the time. Unfortunately, she's also at the phase where nope is her favorite word. And so you'll just ask her things. You'll be like, Peyton, you want to give, or Peyton, Avery, you want to give me a hug? Nope. Avery, you want to help pick up? Nope. Avery, you want to eat this food? Nope. But she has been doing pretty good. She definitely has some tantrums now, but they're short-lived most of the time. And but it is funny. She's got those new tantrums where they they're trying to figure out their body, so she's throwing herself everywhere and throwing things and trying to grab stuff just so she can like throw it. But she's doing good. As far as our Binky expedition is concerned, she's doing well on that too. Doesn't have it during the day at all. Still has it at night. Definitely looks for it at night. But during the day, have not had any issues. The one negative, though, is she has become a much pickier eater lately. It's not just that she's picky. She doesn't seem to want to eat that much lately, which is weird because she was always such a good eater. So we're a little concerned about that because obviously you want her to be healthy, and she just doesn't seem to want to eat a lot of things lately. But overall, she's been really, really good. Definitely fun. Loves to dance. Loves to goof around. Starting to get more into books. Starting to get more into different types of toys, and just she's starting to understand a lot more. So she's asking for certain types of things, asking to do things, and it's been a lot of fun. And her and Peyton either play great together or terrible together, kind of like I referenced earlier. So some of that's good, some of that's not so good, but they're overall we're doing good. Can't complain. As far as my piece of baby gear this week goes, I'm going to actually kind of talk about something negative. Not super negative, but for Peyton's birthday, we bought her one of those leapfrogs, the ones that you kind of open up and you can have different books, like actual physical books you put them in. And then there's like a little like stylus that they touch the books and it reads to them or it tells them things and it's interactive. Really cool. The bad part is we didn't realize that like the books you buy, you have to like go on your computer and download stuff in order for them to work, which is just really weird. So and ours kept having issues. So it took a long, long time. We finally got it to work, but like it wasn't simple. So Peyton was trying to play with this for weeks and we could not get it to work. We finally got it to work. But anyone out there that might do this for their kids, just be aware of that. You have to like download it to your computer and then you have to like basically have it hooked up to your computer and it will work after the fact. But it doesn't always go smooth. They kept telling us that we had issues or like it couldn't connect at this time, whatever that means. But we have no internet issues, so I don't really know why. But that's kind of my baby gear. Other than that, she likes it, which is good, and hopefully it's helping her learn a little bit. So that's my piece of baby gear for the day, Brandon.
Well, Jerry, I don't have a piece of baby gear this week, but we're going to be talking about baby gear for probably the next 20, 30 minutes. Our topic this week is a 3-year review of our registries, kind of talking about things we still use, stuff that we used at one point, things we never needed, and where we potentially went wrong. So if I'm starting out, it was fun having this conversation with Kelsey because we were going through our registry. We were registered on Baby List and a few other places. And one thing to bring up, if you guys are listening and maybe you're waiting on a baby, it is still important, even if you're only going to really use one registry, to register a few different places because you can qualify for a group discount, like a one-time discount at most places, as long as you just register with them. So register there, put a bunch of stuff that you might want or some big ticket items that may make more sense. And then you can look back on it 3 years from now and realize how much money you wasted. So I guess I'll kick it off with a big ticket item. We spent, and you and I did the same thing, Jerry, but we spent hours and hours as dads researching strollers, stroller systems, the car seat with the stroller. You and I have had playful back and forth on which one was better, which one was worse.
Days, months.
Yeah, like, and at points, this is what we felt like could be like our biggest contribution, like early on in the pregnancy. There wasn't much we can do other than research. But I got to tell you, the amount of money, and we were blessed enough to where we didn't spend the money on this. This was gifted to us. Kelsey's parents and my parents split the bill. But the Upper Baby Vista system and the Upper Baby system in general was unnecessary. From the car seat perspective, KJ was in it, or Bryce was in it for a year or less, and then we switched to convertible car seat that he's been in. KJ's about to hit that same point. It is very convenient in those early months. I will say that. But then from a stroller perspective, which is kind of the main reason we went with it, loved it as a single stroller personally. But the moment we had the second kid, we start looking for other options. And I think you paid a little bit more attention to that from the beginning with what you guys decided with the Nuna. But even in being able to make it work, the double stroller that we ended up purchasing, and I'll get into a different one later, all served their purposes with the second kid better than best case scenario. What we would even want to say, we want the same one that you guys had. So that's where I'd start to say we went off the rails from the very beginning, because it was just a completely unnecessary purchase from a price point perspective with everything that comes with it.
Yeah, Brandon, I will. So ours is a little more complicated because we went with the Nuna, the Demi-Grow, and we also went with the Nuna Pippa Light for the baby car seat. And I will say that we absolutely have loved both for both kids, and we love the stroller for both as a dual stroller. Honestly, as far as a luxury, it's great because the car seat was great. Love the car seat. Like I said, the stroller great, works 1 for 2. And even the Nuna Rava or Rava, or however you want to say it, car seats are our favorite car seats. So Nuna has been great. All that being said, I will say that I thought in my head we'd be using a stroller a lot more. And quite frankly, we do not use a stroller that often.
That's my thing.
So that's the thing. So like, would I say that we need this one? No, we don't. Will I say that it's nice that because we have one? Yeah, and that we've had 2 kids and maybe we'll have another one day. It makes it better, sure. But do we need to spend all that money? And again, we didn't spend it either. It was a gift. But did we need to have someone spend that money? Probably not. You can get away with less, I guess, is kind of my take from the stroller thing. Especially because now that we have a wagon, we use the wagon 80% of the time when we can. I prefer the wagon. It's better. As soon as the kid's old enough to sit, the wagon's way easier. It's more fun. It's just more convenient. So the stroller doesn't get used that frequently. Another one, if we're starting, Brandon, on kind of things that we didn't need or maybe that we overlooked. Because honestly, kind of taking a step back, our baby, because we were on baby list too, but the baby list registry we had, most of the stuff was good stuff, and I'm pretty impressed with the things we picked out. We use a lot of it, and a lot of it is well. But one thing that we picked that I would definitely redo is we picked the Graco Slim Snacker high chair, and I hate this high chair. In fact, we got rid of it and got a different one recently because I hated it so much. And it's not really the high chair's fault, other than it's kind of got like this cloth, I don't know, whatever material you want to call it. It's supposed to be easy wipe, but it's not. So it's just dirty all the time because anyone who has kids knows that kids get stuff all over the high chair. My advice to myself 3 years prior, get whatever high chair is the easiest to clean. That is my only advice. I don't care about anything else. Nothing else matters to me because you're going to be having your kid in it 2, 3, 4 times a day, and they're going to be getting everything in the world on it. So if it's difficult to clean, which that Graco one was, it's not convenient. Find the one that's easy to clean. That is my only advice when it comes to high chairs. And the Graco one, it was nice. It was easy to fold up. It did the job. It was not easy to clean. Therefore, I hated it. And then we got rid of it recently because I hated it so much.
So the high chair is also, it wasn't on our list, but that would be one of the wins for us as well. But not because of the registry. The one we got off the registry ended up getting shipped to my parents' house really quickly. They still use it to this day and love it. but we realized quickly what you meant on the cleaning, and we got the Trip Trap, which is like the easiest thing to clean. The chair actually kind of fits the aesthetic of the house, can turn into the actual a chair that follows a kid until they're a lot older too. So it's probably
I wish you would have went that route.
It's probably the most expensive chair that I have around my kitchen table.
Yeah, it's expensive, but I wish we would have gone that route. So I think money well spent on your part.
Yeah, and what I like to see because I would agree with you as far as our registry. I think that's another area we did a lot of research on, and listened to like Reddit threads and YouTube videos on what not to put on there. So we had a little bit of a head start, but you do still go through this, and I'm looking at it, and something as like simple as a pacifier holder, as an example, we have that on our registry, and we got it. We were gifted that. What do we do more than anything else with our passies? We put them in a Ziploc bag, a super cheap Ziploc bag with other toys, like other teething toys, stuff like that. They all go in the same bag, and it's fancy $15 pacifier holder by Mushy. It's actually $12.99. Excuse me. It's a silicone pacifier holder that was probably on somebody's list, and we do not use it at all.
Let me ask you this. If we've never gotten into this before, now that you have KJ, how often do you sanitize pacifiers versus how often you did it with Bryce? Be honest.
Oh. So we actually didn't sanitize it a ton with either. If we're around the house, KJ's get sanitized actually more than Bryce's, I think. Which is crazy.
Really?
Yeah. We really pay attention if we're outside our house. I don't know why. Like, it makes it like a passy can fall on the floor at my house right now. I pick it up, like blow it off, and give it right back to KJ.
Hey, you guys are doing better than us, because Peyton, we paid really close attention and did good, but Avery, it could fall on a Walmart floor, and I probably wouldn't notice that kid. But that kid, knock on wood, she stays healthy. That might be an exaggeration. But the point is, that kid, I swear her passie's probably been sanitized like twice her entire life. She just rolls with them. And she probably got a better immune system than Peyton, though. So I don't
also
know,
may be a part of the sanitation process more with KJ, which is why I noticed that. That could be the case, because we were using like the dishwasher. Like we just got a new dishwasher specifically to be able to tackle bottles, and now we use it. That's actually something on my list, but a sanitizer now instead. So that could be my awareness of it more than anything else, but it's still not a lot. Like we're not sanitizing the passies all that often.
Yeah, in general, we just sanitize less. We sanitize every night with Peyton, but with Avery, we use a dishwasher as like a sanitized feature, and we just use that way more, which is just way easier. But I don't know why we were like afraid to do that with Peyton. And then
it's like Avery, we flipped. Me and you flipped, because we used the dishwasher with Bryce, and we use a sanitizer. So I'll just get into it. We had a sanitizer without the drying function on our registry, and rarely used it. Because it still need to dry. I don't know, the process was a lot easier with the dishwasher, it seemed. But Bryce, towards the end, stopped. It felt like his babas will still have like a soapy like taste to them, and stuff like that. So at least that's what we thought, because he stopped liking them the same. And then once we switched, he started liking it more once we stopped doing it in the dishwasher. So we do not use the sanitizer that was on our baby registry. We got the one with the drying function, and we have used it the entire time with KJ. And it makes a huge difference but we sanitize every day now. This is part of the process. So I would say if you can, and you're going to put a sanitizer on your baby registry, in our experience, we've liked the one, and we spent a little bit of extra money on the one with the drying function. And keep your receipts, because a lot of this stuff you can still ship back if it doesn't work out for you, which helps.
Okay. Well, two of the ones that we put on our registry that I think were absolute hits, like 10 out of 10 would recommend, use all the time. One is the Graco Pack and Play Travel Dome LX Play Yard. that we used with both kids and was amazing. So one, it's a pack and play, and it's an easy to use, great pack and play, and everyone needs a pack and play, in my opinion, if you're ever going to go anywhere. But it also has like an attachment for a bassinet, which is fantastic. We had Peyton and Avery spend a lot of time in that because we would have it in our living room. So they would sit or sleep in that bassinet in our living room. And it also has a changing table, which is really nice. So that pack and play has been absolutely fantastic for us. Could not say enough good things about it. That was a good one. Another good one that was a little controversial on this podcast for a while, Brandon, is my diaper bag, the HSD Dad Diaper Backpack. And it kind of looks military grade. Brandon gave me a lot of crap about it when we did it. I love that backpack. I love that diaper bag. I use it all the time with both kids when they were younger. Honestly, I still think it's a million times better than the one that Macy uses, but she just uses it more frequently now, so we use it, honestly, more than we use mine. But that diaper bag, if you're going to have more than one, especially one as a dad, couldn't say enough good things about. I know Brandon had one you loved, and you never used it. But mine, I actually use all the time. I knew where stuff was. It organized well. It looked normal. I don't know. I like that diaper bag. So anyone out there, if you're looking for a dad specific or kind of a diaper bag that doesn't scream, hey, I have an infant, that was one that I really liked.
So that's actually, if I'm categorizing things, which I did, that's on my things we never needed list. And it's my dad bag, military grade. I got it specced out. I got special stitching patches on it. Yeah, I got patches. Like super. I was geeked about this bag. I've used that bag one time, and it's because I forced it. It's really what it comes down to. And my bag was like, when Bryce was a baby, it was pre-packed, had all kinds of. I was ready. It's just you running out the house, and Kelsey always had her bag right there, sitting by the front door, ready to go all the time. And we don't need two bags accomplishing the same thing.
In fairness, you guys didn't have that issue, and we don't really anymore, which is why I don't use mine that much. But when Peyton was born, Macy worked midnights and worked weird shifts, so I actually would be home alone with Peyton a decent amount. And at that point in time, I was going to use my bag because I knew what my stuff was and how it was organized. You're absolutely right, though, because now I hardly ever use it because, again, you're going to grab one, you're going to grab hers, and that's the one that her parents grab a lot of times. So it's more recently packed. It has the stuff in it. I can't stand it, but it's the one we use most of the time. So that you're absolutely right. Part of the reason we use mine, begrudgingly, I will say, is because of opposite shifts more than anything.
So I would categorize that as the talk with your partner and come up with a shared bag solution. And the other thing that I would put there, and I feel like, so the bag, I think a bag it would go under an absolute need. I just didn't need an extra. I wanted an extra dad bag. I felt like I was just going to be, it was going to be me and Bryce going on adventures. Where? I don't know, because
you were to show the world.
Mom is always home. I'm the one who's at work all the time. And she's always home. I'm not alone with them as much as she is. But the other thing that I would say consult with your partner on is the wrap/carrier. So Kelsey has a couple different wraps that she really likes. I also, and we did talk about this, but the baby carrier, I wanted to do a lot of baby wearing. I actually did more with KJ than I did with Bryce. But if you two can land on, especially at the price point of some of these, like the baby carrier that I got was $130. You can save yourself a little bit of money, or you guys can both decide and try on a couple to figure out which ones you like the most. So for me, I preferred the baby carrier. She prefers the wrap. So it really comes down to who's going to win that argument. We both ended up getting what we wanted, and we didn't know at the time either. But I would buy some to take some back, in my opinion, to figure out which one works best for both of you guys. And my baby carrier was the Kalugo baby carrier.
Yeah, we got the same one. I absolutely love that baby carrier.
I love
personally.
It. Don't get me wrong, I love it.
Yeah, so it's funny because honestly, we were with Peyton, we didn't use it very much, just how she was, and I kind of thought it was maybe, I don't want to call it a waste, but we didn't need that one. But with Avery, it was better. And honestly, when I wear it, it's super comfortable. It's easy to use. I like it's magnetic, which was great. So I actually am a big fan of that one. I think part of it too, Brandon, some of the stuff is like, if you plan on only having like one kid, maybe two, something like that, it's probably a splurge. You don't need it. But if you're going to if you know in your mind, which is hard to know, but if you know in your mind you're going to have 2, 3, maybe 4 kids, then I think that's well worth it, because it is comfortable and it is nice, and it's not like it's going to go out of style. Like all of a sudden it's not going to be safe to use that baby carrier. So that's one that honestly I've liked more as time has gone on.
Well, the other thing with that is, and that's why I have it as it's on my absolute needs list. It's just more or less for me, it was consolidating that to make sure that it was something we both want. 'Cause she prefers her wrap, which is, I mean, the wrap isn't that expensive anyway. But
no,
as you have more kids, I wore it more with KJ because I needed 2 hands to still deal with Bryce.
Correct. Yeah, you're correct. When you're going out, it's just easier. Yeah. Another one that we both, Brandon, had, I know we both bought, and I did a lot of research on it, and I was kind of hesitant, but it paid off. This is one of the times when research did pay off, so yay for research. But that's the Munchkin Step Diaper Pail. We have 2 of those in our house, and that diaper pail, I would not get a different one, because actually we were given, what's the other, Diaper Genie. We were given a Diaper Genie. I hate that thing. It's terrible. But the Munchkin ones, both of the ones that we have, they're great. They're easy to use. They don't smell typically. You can put little sanitizer things in them that make them smell better. That's the diaper pail I would only recommend to people. So we did our research. We got that one. That was definitely a win for us. And I think you guys feel the same about that one too, Brandon, don't you?
Yeah, we have one, and we put another one in KJ's room. We use 2 of them. That's a definite win for both of us.
Yeah. And then one other one I'll mention really quick before I hit back to you that I think both of us have, but it's the Fisher-Price Baby Bouncer. Ours is a Forest Explorer one. But it's a little baby bouncer that has like the little twirls in front of them, the things you can hit. And there's lots of them out there. That thing was a lifesaver with both my kids. So I don't care which one you get, but a little bouncy stationary chair, not a swing, but it's like a little bouncer chair. That thing is money. So find yourself a bouncy chair that works for you, because that was the place that we would put Peyton, that she would actually be calm for 10, 15 minutes, which she never was. So bouncy chair for the win.
So a couple other things for me. And I would categorize this as things we used at one point but don't anymore. So the lounger, or a lounger in general, is something that when we had just one kid, we used all the time with just Bryce. And so as we're putting the registries together, and Jerry and I would go back and forth on this. There are certain things where we're not sacrificing dollars we wanted. That was the upper baby. And there are other things where we're where can we save some money? And so instead of getting a Snuggle Me, we got the Boppy Newborn Lounger. If you guys look that up, the Boppy Newborn Lounger, this is not to be confused with the Boppy that they use for helping with breastfeeding. That it got recalled. Like a kid literally suffocated using it. We used to use that thing all the time. We loved it. So clearly we cut that up. We got our money back, and we ended up getting a Snuggle Me. With just Bryce, that was an absolute necessity, and it was well worth it. You can kind of have him sitting stationary before he can move around. It'd be great. Having a toddler in the house and trying to utilize that is not necessarily what you may want. If you're trying to just go get something done real quick and know that the kid's there, you don't want the toddler messing with the baby while they're in the Snuggle Me, as an example. And it's not necessarily advised to leave them unattended in one of those either. That was kind of Snuggle Me ran into some things there too. So that's one thing that I actually think was a good buy, and we used a lot, but we just needed to we switched up what we had. A bad purchase on our end is the baby swing. So Mama Roo was all the craze. It's what people love. They tell you that it'll put your kid to sleep, and kids love it. This is another era we want to save some money. So we bought the Munchkin Bluetooth baby swing. Saved some money from the Mama Roo. Still had great reviews. This thing broke on us within a day and a half. So took that one back. Was going without a swing for a while, and then if you guys are listening to old episodes, we hit a stretch when Bryce was like 4 months old, where we were getting zero sleep, and I was contemplating spending like over $1,000 on a very bougie
snoo,
the snoo. But what we ended up doing was going with the Mamaroo instead, and that thing didn't work either. So if you're gonna get a swing, cheap out, get the like, I think Graco has like the tried and true, like real bulky $45, $50 swing that everybody tends to love. Get that one. Don't spend a couple $100 on a swing. I need to have a garage sale. Yeah. This is what this is all telling me.
No kidding. A couple other points about registries in general, Brandon, kind of things looking back through my list, it's kind of funny. We had a bunch of different swaddles on there, which swaddles are great. I'm all for it. But your kid's going to figure out which ones they like and don't like. So, I mean, maybe there's strategy to asking for a bunch of them, but really you just need to figure out which ones work for your kid and stick with those and don't worry about having multiple. Because as soon as you find one that works, you're never going to use a different one again because you'd be crazy to. Mind. Correct. So, that's kind of funny looking at. We did have a skip hop changing pad, which is like kind of like a mat. It's like rubber material. That thing's amazing. I think you have the same one, Brandon. That's great because it's like easy to clean, comfortable, just nice. It's got a strap down if your kid's a psycho. Yeah, that thing's great. So that was good. Funny things, putting bottles on your list is kind of, I mean, you do need some bottles, but again, your kid's going to decide what they like and they don't like. So if anything, it's better to get like one of the variety packs where you have like one of a bunch and then figure out which one your kid likes and then buy more of those because in my head, we were going to be a Phillips Advent family and our kids were just going to love them. No, they didn't. They both like different ones. So yeah. I don't know why I thought that, but that was a terrible mistake. Along the same lines, a bottle warmer. We use it some with Peyton, but you don't need, I don't know. Maybe some people do, but like in my head, someone told me this and I got mad at them, but they're actually 100% right. I'll admit it now with 2 kids being a couple years into the parenting game. If you never give your kid a warm bottle, they're going to be fine and they're not going to know any different. The problem is if you start giving them more, probably. If you start giving them warm bottles, then like they get used to it, and then you're just going to be warming their bottles all the time, which is kind of what I did with Peyton. But like with AJ, we never gave her a warm bottle ever, and she's never cared. So I don't know. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't work, but I don't think you need to have it on your registry. Maybe if you're struggling at some point, go get one. But that did nothing for us, Brandon. I'm not going to lie to you.
So Bryce never got a warm bottle ever. Like he was cold bottle all day long and didn't flinch. He also he was taking the bottle a lot sooner than KJ did. Like he was getting bottles in the hospital. We had issues with him latching from the beginning. So Kelsey's breastfeeding journey with him was a lot shorter than it was with KJ. KJ, once he came off the breast and we were bottle feeding, it was a clear difference in how he reacted to bottles that were cold versus bottles that were warm. We bought a bottle warmer because he wasn't taking the bottle well.
You should have just asked us.
I didn't think about it. You also got another kid there, so I would think that. I don't know.
We didn't use it with her.
Yeah, no, we absolutely, like, my whole mentality on that changed with KJ. You brought up the bottles. The number one thing on my absolute needs list is I listed it as the baby list version, but it can be whatever. But the baby list pacifier box. This comes with like a variety of 6 passies, and then what's going to happen inevitably, the one that they get at the hospital, and both our kids were fine with them coming home for a decent amount of time, and then that pacifier box gives you a variety of, so you know which passy your kid actually wants.
Avery hated them all.
Bryce liked the most expensive passy in that box, and
Bryce,
the only one he would take. KJ has been.
Boy, Bryce.
KJ still is like on basically the same ones that they give at the hospital, just different versions of it. But that was something that you absolutely want to make sure you're not wasting a bunch of money buying multiple sets of pacifiers when really you need to figure out which one they want and then buy it at that point. So that was huge for us too.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And the funny thing is, I'll kind of end my spiel, if you will, here, Brandon. But we talked before we got on, and it's funny because with your first kid and when you're doing a baby registry, you're going to put 50, 75, 100 things on there, and you're going to want all this stuff. And don't get me wrong, it's good. I was looking through the list. We use almost everything that we've gotten on that list. That being said, you realize with your second kid, you basically need like 4 things. Like the 4 things that matter. Everything else is just gravy. So don't freak out if you don't have something, because really you need a place for the kid to sleep. You need like to feed it like a bottle. You need, a car seat, and most of the other stuff you figure out and you can get later on. It's not the end of the world if you don't have it day one. And I think we did so much research and we freaked out about it. And I'm not mad that we did, because we got stuff and we used the stuff. But even funny things, like there's like a car seat cover. We got one and I have no idea where it is. I don't think we ever used it because it didn't matter. It didn't help, didn't do anything. But like things like that, like I was like, we need one. We didn't need one, but that's okay. Some of the swaddles we have, I guarantee you that maybe both kids used them once, hated them, and they're just sitting there because, again, if they don't like them, they don't like them. One thing I will mention that we haven't put on there, Brandon, though, and I just came to my mind, the Nanit, as far as a baby camera, can't recommend enough. We talked a lot about it. I'll give them a 9 out of 10 just because they haven't sponsored us, because we've talked so good about them. We deserve a sponsorship, but Nanit is great. I love it. And with 2 kids, the split screen, fantastic. I wouldn't go with a different baby camera system for sure. So Nanit was a good one. And that was one that we did a lot of research and was a little bit of a splurge, but great. And again, if you have multiple kids, it continues to pay for itself. So I do really like the Nanit. But overall, what I'm trying to get at, Brandon, is that you just focus on the core things, and everything else, a lot of it, you're going to have to figure out with how your kid is. And some of your kids are going to be different. Like you said, KJ is different than Bryce. Peyton and Avery are very different. And you're going to do what's best for that kid in those moments. And you're going to inevitably go out and probably buy stuff, different stuff than what you have, which is okay. So don't over freak out about it. But I'm honestly not mad looking back, Brandon. 3 years later, I think we did okay. I'm not too mad about our hitting percentage, if you will.
No, I don't disagree. And considering that, to selfishly say this, but a lot of these big ticket items we didn't have to pay for. So I'm saying this from a position of like privilege, in that if I would have spent the money on this, I'd have probably felt a little bit saltier, which probably ain't a good thing to say. Sorry if you're listening. My dad listens to this podcast sometimes. We still use it. But I think we probably could have saved y'all some money. In talking to Kelsey, there's a couple different things that we haven't brought up that she would have brought up. So things we do differently. She specifically said baby creams and like lotions, things that you probably don't realize you're going to go through a decent amount of.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You you nickel and diming yourself throughout like the process of the baby, especially early on. Like you probably overreact and put too much stuff on, or maybe like one cream and don't like a different one. So those are things she would have put on there. And then a thing that she feel like we really did right was not having a bunch of clothes on our registry. People are going to buy you clothes anyway. People who you know are probably going to gift you clothes, potentially if they have kids who've outgrown them. So not having a bunch of clothes that it can be helpful as well, so people can focus on things that may be more vital to the kid that you don't already have.
Yeah, I got 10 boxes of boys' clothes in my garage right now, and we do not have a boy. So that tells you.
That's for Gerald Scott Alusky the first.
Exactly. But that's a good place to stop, Brandon. It's kind of fun going back in memory lane, but that's a good place to stop, and we'll continue to update everyone on baby gear, because we like to do that from pretty much every episode. So we'll continue to give you our 2 cents on what we think about baby gear. Brandon, but that's a great place for you to hit us with your dad joke today. Usually it's me at the end of the episode, but today it's you. So hopefully you bring us home solid here.
Oh, I'm super excited about this one, Jerry.
Okay.
Jerry, who does Beyonce call when she needs her roof replaced? All the shingle ladies, all the shingle ladies, all the shingle ladies, all the shingle ladies. If you like it, then you should have put a roof on it. You know I love a good joke that I can act out and sing a little bit.
I like that one. I just kept thinking to the left. That's all that kept coming to my head. Something to the left. Everything I own in a box to the left. But no, that was good. And I'm glad you did that one because you probably are just a little bit better at singing than I am. So we'll give you the nod.
That doesn't count as good singing. That was me having a little fun. That was
still
great.
better than what I
Sorry
would
for your ears.
Oh, but it is funny because, again, Brandon, me listening back, this is what we'll call my shameless plug, which is sometimes better, sometimes worse. But basically, if you haven't already, like us on all our social media pages, tell your friends about us, go back and listen to all the episodes, and give us a good rating. We can't say enough good things about people that give us good ratings or message us. We like hearing from each and every single one of you. We really do read what you guys send. We do really appreciate it. So for all those who have been listening from the beginning or just started listening, we really do appreciate all that you guys do. And we talk a lot about being dads here, and sometimes we tell you our frustrations, but it is the greatest job in the world, and we both love doing it. So if you're a dad out there, we definitely can appreciate what you're going through, and I'm sure you agree with us that there's no greater job you can have or whatever you want to call it, title you can have than being a dad. So until next time, as always, I'm Jerry, joined here by Brandon, and you've been listening to Dad Jokes.